Hi guys, the stock market is crashing. Sorry, I look like I'm happy about it, but I'm just happy because I told you, like, this is happening exactly as I told you in the previous days, in the previous weeks. So I'm not really happy because even my portfolio is being crushed. So let's have a look at what happened and what is happening. So the main reason why it is crashing is, as I mentioned, basically the Fed taper. Yes, so I basically showed you yesterday in the video I made yesterday and published yesterday. It was about the bond market receiving less money, and at the same time the stock market receiving less money. All of this is the result of the Fed taper. So there is less money coming into the bond market, and as a result, what is happening, what the hedge funds are doing, are basically moving, like they are changing their position. No more like stock market, only stock market, but even now there is the bond market to be fed, let's say, to be given food to, given money. So I have some very last minute data, and I compared this year versus last year. And if you look at the data, that I'm gonna leave a link in the description below, it's not like super precise. I used the data, I just literally copied and pasted from a website called ETF.com, and it gives you the basically money flow into ETFs, which could be both like securities, so we're talking about stocks, and the other one could be and is bonds. So you see the difference between bond this year and bond last year, and same thing for stocks. Now last year we had bonds receiving only 6 trillion versus stocks receiving 12 trillions, right? So keep these two numbers in mind. Stocks 12, bonds 8. Guess what? Sorry, bonds 6. Okay, so stocks 12 and bonds 6. Now this year, guess what is happening? And this is very interesting for you, much simpler to remember as well. Bond and stocks both are receiving both are receiving 8 trillion. Sorry guys for messing you up, but as you can see, stocks have lost almost, well, let's say 4 trillions out of the 12. So that is 1/3 of the amount of money that is going into it, and bond have instead gained. And that is what I've been telling you all along, what I've been telling you over the days and now weeks, telling you guys, the taper is probably the worst bit of news that can possibly happen, and it's all driven by obviously inflation. So what is happening? What is the future of the stock market at this point? Well, it's very simple. The stock market, investing now in the stock market is very risky because there is a possibility for a further crash. Today is not really a massive crash, is a bit of a pullback, but it goes to show that the money flow is very much skewed to the bond market now. Like, we are moving to the bond market, and the taper has just started. Yes, it has just started, guys. This is the first month. The next month is gonna be even worse, I can guarantee you this much. Sorry for being this bearish. I'm always extremely bullish for the long run. Okay, for the long run, I'm always all for stocks, obviously, because those return the best profit, but compared to bonds, obviously. But for the short term, I really see trouble, and you have to be nimble. You need to be able to switch from, having cash in hand and having stocks. Now it's really risky to invest in the stock market, and the reason is there is not a lot of money going into it, and that means, in very simple terms, really very simple, that there is basically anything can happen, any bad news coming out. Like, for example, the Evergrande crash, which I'm making video updates anytime there is news coming out, and basically other things. For example, inflation data. If the inflation percentage increase keeps going up, every time we get more inflation, month on month increases, yearly increase, like if we keep seeing inflation going up, that is another thing that can crash the market. Now, what really can happen is that even just having a bad day where, for example, some bad bit of news crash the stock market, and what the algorithms will do, and because all of this is constantly changed, the money flow changes based on news and events, but it's all moved by algorithms. So the algorithms will move their money into bonds and will start the crash of the stock market, because if it starts crashing like 2-3% a day, as it happened in 2020, and even obviously in previous years like in 2018 and all of that, that crash will be feeding on itself. Obviously it will add fuel to the fire, and it will keep feeding on itself, and so we will come down, and that will obviously be in some way even positive for the market, because it will get to a point where it will have to correct itself. It will first of all have a massive reaction due to the fear, and then it will go up a little bit. I don't know how much, but then that will be a great moment to invest. And on this channel I'm making these video updates really on a daily basis, so that you're always up to date on the entire market and on certain stocks. So for example, I totally nailed what is happening to Tesla. So I told you that Tesla is now in a period of consolidation, and it went up from the all-time high that was a week ago, and it went down straight down, and now it's gone up a little bit, but as you can see, it's forming some kind of triangle, like ascending wedge, let's say ascending or descending. We are not sure at the moment if it's going to be descending or ascending, but it doesn't matter. We are inside this trading wedge, and I totally nailed it. So I'm gonna do more stocks like that I think are gonna do well in the long run. For example, Tesla is one of those. I'm gonna review other stocks like that, but most importantly is the whole stock market that we need to look at, and on this channel you know everything before everyone else. So other things that we need to look at, obviously I told you the inflations, I told you about Evergrande, and I told you about oil. Oil, for some reason today it went down a little bit. I think it has come up a little bit, and basically it's another of those stories, like the oil is incredibly important for the stock market. If you look back in 2020 when we had the massive crash, guess which one was basically one of the first commodities to crash through the floor? It was oil. And then only after oil started climbing, well, that's basically what one of the drivers, including obviously Fed pumping money like crazy to bring the stock market up. And so even oil has been suffering today. So now you know why the stock market is crashing today, what is going to happen in the near future. Next month is going to probably get even worse, and we're going to keep it monitored on this channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.